spontaneous instant live stream. Yeah, although I'm still under the total impression yesterday's live stream with Angelo Kelly. I just want to share some things at Friday. I bought me some nice OGs, want to show them, want to discuss them. And yeah, I also got my new record cleaner. Want to share the impression, if you like, about this fantastic tool with you. Yeah, that's what's all about in this stream. Hello, Manfred. Yeah, it's won't be a very long live stream because at 6 p.m. my time we have another OBC live stream. So yeah, let's keep it as brief as possible. Hello, Kiel, nice to see you. And yeah, let's start with my new best friend. Wow, this is really a game changer. I used so far the audio desk, the glass, and it is of course a great record cleaner, but this is really another ball game in a way. The result, and of course that's what counts at the end, the result. I cleaned OGs, and if there isn't something within the vinyl, which of course no cleaner in the world, at least not until now, can repair, there is not a single click or pop, all gone. I really didn't expect that. Hey, Nick, Fabio, Marco, nice to see you. The black paint. Hey, hello. Yeah, this is. I didn't expect this result, to be honest. What's also, of course, a great thing is this 5 record changer. So it means you can put 5 records onto it and then let him go. 5 minutes cleaning, 4 minutes dry, which is absolutely enough. There is not a single drop after the drying. And yeah, that's it's a record collector's crazy man's dream come true. And you even can reload this 5-disc record changer while in progress, and that's of course so comfortable, so cool. Yeah, hi Jason. Basement Plattenladen. Yeah, that is, as I said, my new best friend. I don't know what it makes out of me that my new best friend is a record cleaner, which we discussed that in the Discord of the OBC. Yeah, but that's how I am, or maybe some of us how we are. Yeah. So, but now let's get into the records I got on Friday. I visited Günther at his record store here in Düsseldorf, Minty Vinyl. Some of you probably have seen him. We did a very nice interview on the Den Bosch Record Fair. He always has his place, his booth over at the Den Bosch Record Fair. It's a Claudio. Manfred, with a 5-disc changer. I write the brand in the comment section. Hi Heike, nice to see you. Yeah, and we took some time. We discussed some things, and I really got some, for me at least, amazing records. And maybe I start with a record I didn't get. He had a sealed German first pressing of Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. I wanted to buy it, and then I said, yeah, I will open it. Let's free the record. And then he said, no. I said, yeah, of course. What is it good for if it's sealed? Then wait for another copy. I get you another copy. Yeah, okay. And so I didn't I didn't get it, but I got other stuff. And let's start, yeah, of course, with one of my favorite bands, as you all know. I already got a copy of this one, but I bought this because of the shape. Kraftwerk, Trans-Europa Express, German first pressing. The jacket, there is nothing on it. Maybe maybe here is, you see that? There is a little, otherwise it's in an amazing shape. That's very special. Next special thing is same great shape of the inner sleeve. No, not polylined. Beautiful shape. And this is probably really, really rare, the poster in a mint shape. So please, I won't unfold it now here. I just don't want to. So this is really, really rare to get in this condition. And of course, the vinyl. I'll show you the vinyl, of course. Look at the spin. Look at that. Come on. It's not that bad, isn't it? So, and this is, again, made me think, you know, this is now the second copy I bought, and I really have to force myself to be patient, and for some bands I really want to get into the originals. Just be patient and wait until I find the right copy. Maybe, yeah, maybe. So wait until you get the right copy. That's what I have to say every time now. I will buy an original. Is this the copy you will stick to? So otherwise, I can imagine you buy those 2, 3, 4 times until you say, this is the one. This is the one. Another one I got, very interesting record, very not very rare or difficult to get it in this shape again. Probably some of you who are into krautrock know the Ohr label. Yes, with a little brochure. And this is a sampler of the Ohr label. It's not that difficult to get. Of course, this is an amazing copy in an amazing shape. But what I like so much about this is that it is a great opportunity for those who doesn't have the possibility to get into all this kind of bands that are on the Ohr label. And on this sampler, as I said, it's not that expensive. You probably get a decent copy for 50, 60 euros. And this might be something to get in, because of course, on the label, you probably don't like every record they had put out. But here you get a nice overview. It's a beautiful sampler, highly recommended, and not that hard to get. Hi, Stunty. Yeah, Liam, how was your record fair? I think you have been on a record fair today. I hope you found great stuff. Sorry, but who watches football after the World Championship? No, I'm kidding. Nice to see you here. Probably more easy than in the US or the UK. I can imagine. Of course, Düsseldorf, Patrick, the vinyl archivist, is ground zero. Of course, we are in very we are very nearby to Cologne, Düsseldorf with Neu, Kraftwerk, and some others. Of course, here is of course a hotspot, absolute hotspot. Yeah, and before we get into a very, very special artist, I bought 2 originals. I bought a third krautrock album. Again, perfect shape. I bought Amendyl 2, Phallus Dei. I'll show you again. I'll show you the label. So here is the label. This Amendyl and Amendyl 2 records, they are amazing, really highly recommended on the Liberty label. I got those, of course, with this sheet. And the only thing Günther stated that that's what it's not perfect about the copy, but I totally doesn't mind. The owner puts a stamp over there, but I don't have any problem with that. Somehow I even like it. It gives a personality to the item. It's the history, and no problem. Dents or seam splits, but not such a personal stamp of an previous owner. Yeah, and then are there some questions? It's not easy. Yeah, exactly, Kiel. It's not easy, especially when you look for a certain shape or condition of it. Then it's easy. Stanti, are you still here? Because if Stanti is here, I maybe he wants to come up, because the artist I now show you is right up to his alley, I'm sure. If Stanti is here, maybe you would like to come on screen. Stanti, if you're here, join me, because now we are talking about a German artist, comes from Nuremberg. I want to talk and show you this original. It's John Bender, an amazing artist. He's here he is. Cool. Hey, Stanti.
Hello.
You probably have heard of John Bender, don't you?
Yes. Let's look how our copies differs, because this is a handmade cover, of course.
Exactly. So here is my backside, and here's my front. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What genre are we talking here, Stanti? I would say new wave, minimalism, avant-garde. What you probably know him.
I call it. We've talked about him before, and I call it like idiot savant, autistic proto techno,
Okay.
which is, of course, derivative from. It's coming from post punk. It's a guy who had machines and did whatever he could, and there's a very idiot savant quality to this.
Yeah.
It's a bit hectic, and it's unique, absolutely unique. So
Absolutely.
much unique, of course, that he had to put it out himself.
Exactly. And what I totally like about him is this desperate, repetitive rhythms he created, this ice cold yet romantic new wave touch. You know, it's he is a pillar for me when it comes to this kind of music. It's so amazing what he has created, probably with very low equipment possibilities, right?
Yes, the story is still a little bit obscure. I stumbled upon him in the late 90s.
Hmm.
In I think it was a DJ mix or something that I found online in the early days of the internet, and it totally fascinated me. And I would say that well, if you are into early Chris and Cozy,
Hmm.
um, Severed Heads,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, this will
Mm.
be right up your alley. But there is something a little bit disturbing in this music. I wouldn't call it like when you say new wave. I see where you're coming from because of the time, of course, but it is much
And the
closer.
instrument. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say that it's much closer to electro in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, but you say you just, if you like Severed Heads, if you like Chris and Cozy, I do agree, no doubt about that. But I talked about it a bit with Liam and some other people in the OBC on the Discord. I also would say if you like Ultravox, you
Yeah,
probably will like John Bender. I'm quite sure.
absolutely.
I'm quite
But
sure.
the early Ultravox was proto electro and
Hmm.
was produced at Coney Plank,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and was also
Where
coming from
else?
post-punk. Was also
Yeah,
coming from post punk. The earliest Human League, Ultravox, and all that. That was experimental music.
totally. I mean, the Heaven 17, Human League,
Yeah.
the roots are clock DBA,
Mm.
which is highly experimental.
And of course, the connection with it is because John Bender is singing on this. There's
Mm.
also
Yeah, yeah.
human voice, but in yeah, in a
I'll show you the vinyl and the
yeah,
label. Keep talking. I'll just show because it's beautiful too. I think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
This
This
is
was released on his. I think was it this release on his own label, Record Sluts? I think so.
I think so too because
Yeah, yeah.
which label would have taken him at that time? Hmm?
So basically, back then he released a few tapes, and he had three releases on his own label by him. And there's a very strange thing. I think it is completely strange because the second release, this is from 1980, from 81.
Yeah.
It's a bootleg of the Velvet Underground that he released.
Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know. Yeah, but his stuff is also quite often on audio cassette. And maybe before we give some hints or advices how to get uh, uh, um,
well,
John
the,
Bender easily nowadays because his originals are not that easy to find anymore.
yeah, he has. This is the second album he had.
So we both have the same edition. This is
Yeah.
yeah. Because, tell what's so special
So
about
this
the
is called
jacket.
Plaster Folding, and in order to access to the record, you can still see a little bit of the rope here.
Mm.
This is all covered in plaster and sealed in plaster. I got my copy sealed, still sealed 20 years ago or so. And so it's quite unique. It's already an object worth collecting besides the music. You also have, as with the first one, this hand printed, or in this case, this is painted,
Mm.
not even printed. But weirdly enough, yeah, this was the address. Check on your copy if it's different because it's on Record Sluts with an address in the US.
Okay, we W Charlton Cinti 0.45219 USA. Yeah, here.
But do you have
Yours is
okay? See mine. They struck part of the address to have
yeah,
it the name of the studio.
okay.
But yeah,
No, not on my copy. But by the way,
yeah,
Santi, what we have here is not the second pressing, it's the second edition. He did two edition of this
yeah,
in this
yeah.
plaster. show you the
that came out
label.
at the same time, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I only learned of this recently because when I got mine, like 20 years ago or so, on Discogs there was only there was so little information. You didn't know there were several editions,
Mm,
and it was only
mm.
until quite recently.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, this
yeah, and he has a third album, which for me is my favorite.
the
Um,
top surgery. Yeah.
Basically, the two first ones are amazing, but this one is maybe more catchy.
Is
Uh,
it? Now we are talking 90s, right?
no, this is from 83. 83.
83. Oh, sorry.
80, yeah, conceived between 82 and first quarter of 83.
Yeah.
And now you have, see, the Elysian place. Now they corrected the
Oh,
address
you have
there.
it. Yeah, right. But maybe those originals are not that easy to find and not that cheap.
Absolutely. But just
And
quickly, as you can see here, one of the names here of one of the tracks,
Melinda.
Malinda, Stephen Malinder from Cabaret Voltaire,
Ah, okay, cool.
of course. So, and this one is with his brother Max Bender, who there's very little information about him. But these records, they were the only thing that existed apart from a couple of tracks on compilations from the same
Mhm.
area. And by the late 2000, I think in 2007, these two records came out.
I don't have those.
Yeah, this one is like a straight up bootleg of one of
Okay.
the two other cassettes that was under the name of John Bender. It's really good quality. This came out on the amazing Horny Bone Recording Company, which is a bootleg arm of Beta Lactam Ring in Canada.
Okay.
And then they had this one,
Plaster the prototypes. Okay.
yeah, which is actually an acetate. So you have the smell of the acetate, and
That a
that was,
polyline inner sleeve, Stunty.
yeah. I'll come and get them at yours. You have the best ones, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And so I think that by the end of the 2000s, me and other people who were hyping this so much, writing about it, DJing it. So they
Mhm.
started to. There was a few bootlegs of
Yeah.
the first three albums that started to arrive, and but very shady bootlegs because John Bender is still around.
Yes.
Um, but that prompted Vinyl on Demand in 2012 to do a first like a box set, the complete work of John Bender, a 7 LP box set with an additional 7-inch. So basically, the 5 records we just showed you, plus another cassette under another name called John Vortex, and an LP of various tracks from various compilations. And that one has been reissued once again in 2015, and it's still obscure enough so that you can still find it at a very reasonable price. At
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. So if you want to try it, and before you hunt down those originals, maybe this box set from Vinyl on Demand is a very good opportunity. I looked it up yesterday on Discogs. It goes 120 euro for a beautiful, high quality. I really can recommend this Vinyl on Demand stuff. Beautiful box set. So this
just
might
imagine,
be
Michael,
very interesting.
just imagine how far we have come, because you're gonna get the box set soon, right?
Yes.
Imagine like a year ago doing shootouts between a John Bender record original and a John Bender reissue.
And it will happen. It will
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, but just because he is not so famous doesn't mean that he isn't one of the most interesting musicians in that area of music. He is amazing.
He's a pioneer, and he doesn't go much more cult than him in the world of electronic music that it is not coming from the academy. The people, the heads like John Bender, it's almost like this box set from Vinyl on Demand, kind of like shattered a little bit of the mystique, because it was almost like
yeah, of course.
a
The
guarded.
availability was there at a certain point. But come
Yeah,
on,
but
I think
it's just because it's so
we should
good.
embrace that. We should
Yeah, yeah,
embrace
absolutely.
and not be so snobbish and say, "Oh no, this was so special. Now everybody knows him." I don't like that attitude. You probably don't
Oh
either.
no, absolutely not. It's just that, like, when I was playing these tracks, there were secret weapons of my DJ sets, because no one
Okay,
really knew them
I can
before.
imagine. Yeah, yeah.
Now
Everyone, oh,
it's
who is
secret
that? Who is that? Mm, mm. Yeah, but still, I think he's still a nice recommendation, because he's not that much out there like Ultravox, Human League, Heaven 17, right? Or Chris and Cozy. Chris and Cozy probably are also way more famous than John Bender.
Oh, absolutely. But but John Bender also has a spot on his own, because it's, even if we make comparisons, it's still unique enough that, like, uh, we're saying these names and dropping these names just to give a little bit of like an idea, but it is quite unique and beautiful. And but yeah, it's not. No, it's not that difficult music, but there is, like, for
No.
example,
When
in
you're a
rock.
child of the 80s, Stanti, when you're a
Yeah,
child of the 80s like me,
yeah,
it's
there's
a
no problem.
no-brainer. It's a
Yeah,
no-brainer. You don't have any difficulties with it. I have
no.
more difficulties with Whitney Houston than with John Bender. But back to the vinyl on demand. What I so like about this, and this is a very typical subject in a way, that in those box sets, you also get those audio cassettes he did for the first time on vinyl. And don't underestimate that. Otherwise, it's only out there as audio cassette. And for us vinyl lovers,
And also, the origin of these, at one point I remember there were some releases on Discogs, on cassette, that don't exist anymore there, because apparently they were just bootlegs. They probably hadn't been released in reality back then. It was just people who had gathered tracks, second, third, fourth generation, from personal contact. uh, but I remember when I was getting these records, the word out was that there were so many cassettes out of him, and actually there aren't. It's mostly these vinyl records and and a few others. But also there is all this mystique, because he is from Nuremberg, but he's called John Bender.
yes, that's strange, right? Yeah.
It's like, I guess there must be some booklet with the box set that shed some light on all the
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the charm of that music from the early 80s, from the time of post-punk, early industrial music, when everyone was enjoying to make it a little bit cryptic and to build mystique like that. And
Mm,
even if I would be happy to get a copy of the box set just for the stuff I don't have. But
yeah.
also, as collectors like you and me, these
Yeah.
objects,
This,
they are
this
so
is
cool.
so cool. But
Yeah,
I think this is even more cool. This plaster
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Of course,
Oh,
through a video, it's difficult to it's so handmade and so special when you see it. It's simply amazing. Simply amazing. But not that easy to get. Not that easy to get nowadays.
oh, it was never easy to get.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was never. Imagine back then, a guy with a British name living in Germany doing that music being released on a label that he kind of runs, but that is based in the US. And
Yes,
they
that's right.
didn't do, yeah, they didn't do. If they did 500 copies of this, that's probably the most. I
Yeah.
might be off, but I don't see why there would have been more than that back then. And
And
when I was,
something important nowadays in that kind of music, we are used to 100, 300, but at that time 500, and there was only vinyl or audio cassette. 500
yeah,
was nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And some copies of some of these release, I mean, obviously part of the mystique was that it was never really that well distributed, so much so that we discovered recently that some people are sitting on some quite a lot of copies, or had been sitting on like
Yes.
stock copies of some of these releases. And
And
because of yeah, and because of the hype, the new discovery of all of these, thanks to Frank with the vinyl on demand, like now I would say it's easier to get these records, the original, now than it was 20 years ago. It's maybe a
absolute.
little more pricey, but now the information is out.
Yes. 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 Yeah, that's our take on John Bender. And I'm so impressed how fast you found your copies of John Bender. That's amazing. I
But the
always
thing
think
is,
that
there's a logic to everything here.
okay, must be a very secret logic. Maybe we make a video about the logic of your record. So,
Yeah,
how you
and
store
next
your
week
record.
I should be able to finally take part in the OBC more actively.
Yeah, sure. You're very, very welcome, of course. Yeah, what's else on the plate? Any questions here? Otherwise, we call it a day. As I said, I have another stream in 90 minutes with the OBC. But if there are some questions, then let's discuss though. If you have questions for Stanti or me or releases, I see there are quite some discussions about the 50s Dark Side of the Moon. Will it be analog? Will it be digital? Yeah, we will see. We will
By
see.
the way, Michael and I are soon starting in the OBC betting site about will it be analog or digital for.
No, we won't, but it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Ja, ja, Lottoannahmestelle. Ja. Yeah, the fine art, the fine art of finding records, please.
The fine art of finding records in your own home.
Um, get connected to good dealers, and I think one important thing is don't hassle too much about the price. I think if you don't, you are on their list when they really get the cool stuff because they say, okay, with him I can talk.
Or make it like almost full-time job.
No, all that, yeah, like Stunty. Okay, Stunty, a fan of Cot again, Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, Roberto. The Claudio is unbelievable, but it comes with a price. Yes, yes, that's for sure. You know, I will get heavily into this machine. I will test it to its limit. What I also will do, because I question that myself now, are those ingredients useful or not? Because I'm always a bit afraid that there is some residue left. And I will try cleaning with and without ingredients. And I will do a video in a week or two when I really gotten into it and checked everything out.
Look at David Shan's comment. I
Hi,
think we
Michael. I
already
hope
talked
you
about.
talk about the small boutique in Berlin called Sonic Pieces.
Yeah. We've already talked about them in the pre-order, I think. Not for this one, but it's yeah, they have this great artwork. Always like it's like modern classical avant-garde. This one is Catherine Grarup Elbow, and is probably my favorite of theirs. But they have they're kind of like a German Soundom label, basically.
Okay.
Mm.
Edition Blume.
Yeah, they were basically like a German Edition Blume.
Mm.
I think most releases are 300 copies, and very nice packaging.
Totally agree, Dane. Yeah. Yes, that's I think the way to go.
Yeah, and yeah, well, and online, of course. I last year
Depends
was
on this depends.
there's so much stuff that you will never find all the way.
That's so true. For example, when it comes to the John Bender, how many editions are of plaster falling resonance? Two, one, two,
Too,
and
yeah.
of course it's not so problematic like with the Dark Side of the Moon with 521 different pressings. You know, that's the problem over at Discogs in my personal experience.
Yeah.
Of course, with this kind of with those avant-garde records, 1, 2, 3 pressings, Discogs might be perfect if you get lucky and get the correct grading. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes like my plaster folding, I got it online, probably through eBay back then. I didn't even know it was coming sealed. Like I'm not sure the
Okay.
seller really understood what it
Mm.
was, but I mean, like someone was talking about the Cut LP.
Yeah.
It's a 300 record, 300 copy record that came out in June. I
Yeah.
pre-ordered it, and the place I pre-ordered it from didn't get their copies. So when I realized it was taking so long, I asked them, and they explained to me, "Oh, sorry, yeah, no, we're not gonna get it." So I went to Discogs because no
What
shop had
else?
it. Yeah,
What else? Right. And did you pay a decent price, or was it already
a little
way
bit.
up?
Like I probably spent like 10, 15 euros more than I would have otherwise. But yeah,
Okay, Svetlana came home. I have to call it a day for this stream. Thank you all for your time. Great that you came up. Great insights on the John Bender. I knew that you know way more about him than me, like always.
talk
Thank you
soon.
very much. See you all very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.